Hello and welcome to It's Time. I am your co-host, LaShawn Spivey Angeletti, the Dream Cultivator. My superpower is to help people tap into their gifts and talents. What do you do with that? You might be asking. Well, dear, you can do a lot. If it's your children, you can tap into them when it comes to education. And if it's you yourself, you can tap into you to get some peace. So I do a lot of different things, but I can't wait to hear all that the guests who are coming have to say for It's Time.
On this week's Hot Topic, we are going to discuss how some kindergartens put a little twist in their lunch meal. So let me tell you guys what happened. So in Michigan, a kindergartner decided to bring some Jose Cuervo margarita to the class during snack time and poured it in the little cups for the kids during snack time. And the baby understood what he or she were doing. A couple of kids had a couple drinks. And then another kid went to the teacher and said, "Hey, he giving us liquor for lunch."
Okay, so there's a couple things here. All right. First of all, let's just say we're talking about developmentally. This child as a kindergartner, this child could have been anywhere between, let's say, 4 and 6. Sometimes traditionally it's 5.5, but sometimes people have the opportunity to put their baby in early. So I don't know about, so I'm just going to say developmentally, this child is between 4 and 6 years old. This is prime time for some of the standards that we are really embodying. Like your mind is like set on some things. You've learned enough world knowledge to go, okay, I know what this is. I know what that is. So with that said, this child has been exposed to what margarita is. Now, am I judging a parent or guardian? No, not at all. Because if you enjoy margarita, I have no problem. I got a margarita in my refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? However, the child clearly either had not been exposed to somebody tell him, no, not for you, or they knew the no and had access to get it anyway. So this to me, for parenting, you got to know your child. If you know that you say no, and your child is interested and they might take a peek, then you need to be on the third shelf in the refrigerator or in the, or in the freezer or something. It just needs to be where they can't touch it that easily. Then also, I would be concerned about the packaging. For this child to be pouring multiple cups to share, they didn't have one of them little travel cutesy shot glass margarita premix. They had a nice size bottle.
So here's my thought process. First of all, the fact that baby knew. Most people would be like, oh, they're only in kindergarten. How do they know? My grandbaby is 2. That girl knows. Like, these children are not oblivious to what is going on in this world, in our household. So I know that child knew exactly what he or she was bringing to school, knew that it was liquor, knew that he probably shouldn't have it, but wanted to share it with his friends. Then it goes to the parent. Like, I don't know. I used to always think that maybe I am too into it. Like, I'm one of them parents that I'm too involved. Like, I want to know everything. But seeing this situation lets me know, we need to be involved. Like, it might not be involved enough. Check their phones, check their book bags. What's going on? This is just like a child bringing a gun to school situation. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, where if a child brings a gun to school, then the parent ends up being responsible, right? In this particular case, no children were harmed. Do you feel that some responsibility should lie on the parents? Like, what happened?
Well, absolutely, because of the fact that this is so there's 2 parts to this, all right? Because the child knew that it was something they weren't supposed to have. Cognition is there. However, the effects of what the defining features of alcohol that's not a 5-year-old understand. I know that it's ooh, mommy and daddy had it, or ooh, auntie and mommy had it, whoever it was. And so it's glamorized in that fashion. It's been socialized that this is what they do together and probably get to have it in a cute pink cup or a cute glass. So I want to be able to, for a 5-year-old, this is mommy's secret tea party. She be getting to have this, or auntie or whoever. They get it. I want the tea party too, because they probably don't understand the true effects of alcohol. They are just told it's not yours. You're not supposed to have, right? So now they're thinking for a 5-year-old that it's an element of sharing or not sharing.
Right.
So this is the process for understanding. So now, because I'm sure some educators be like, LaShawn, well, you say you're an educator. How you didn't know that? I do, y'all. So I'm helping you out for those who don't understand that. They're going to look at it socially like, I want to be able to be the life of the party, how when everybody gets together, is food and it's these pretty color, pink, green, glasses of ooh wee, because everybody oohing and saying I can't have none, and it looked like my drinks. So now I want to be empowered to share that and be in the one in control, to be the host with the most. All right. The effects of alcohol, I could agree that a 5-year-old probably doesn't understand. They just know mommy and daddy, auntie, uncle, grandma say you're not supposed to have just because I say so. So that's one. Yes, I think there is a level of accountability and responsibility for adults, the parents, because of the fact that that child is not walking to school. They better not be walking to school in kindergarten and just walked out the house.
They do.
So now listen. So all of these elements play a difference, because we talk about something that become a social service concern, and social services steps in and says, listen, by our mandate and what the law says that we're supposed to do to protect children, we have to question that the resources, how often they have access to this, how the child got a hold of it and was able to transport it to the school. This is what social services is going to be asking, because this is something that the school has to report to authorities, because now they have to notify the other parents that their children have been exposed to alcohol. It's more than just, we can laugh and talk about it. Did it have salt on the rim? But no, it's more, because these are controlled substances that people could have problems. What if a child has an allergy? What if a child, has some type of reaction? What if the child has a heart, when your heart skips a beat or what happens?
A heart murmur.
Yes, a murmur or something. And then that's agitated. What if the child, whatever it is, and the child consumes it, and now they have some form of concerns, even if it's just, and I won't say just minimizing this, but I want to say this because not everybody believes it to be a requirement for the schools anymore. What if they have religious beliefs? What if the families practice religious practices that say no? And now you have exposed their innocent child to something that they have chosen as a lifestyle. You don't get to do that.
What the teacher doing for this child to be able to not pour one cup, but pour multiple cups. I mean, like, you done? Let me tip you off. You finished? Like, literally.
And share with friends. So this is the concerns that I had. Okay, because as an educator, 20 plus years, one of the key positions that I had for several years, and I really admired, and I did not play games with, as was the director. I directed a preschool, and we had children from birth to kindergarten. My kindergarten teachers knew there was no sitting on watch, and sitting on watch meant you're not watching the kids. You don't know what's going on. You're not interacting with them. Kindergarten, they recess alone is only about 23 minutes. Okay. So how is it that you are out of sight enough for a child to be pouring cups? There's no substance that they should be sharing without your permission that you did not check and be sealed, and you crack open. You don't get to do that. You're supposed to be the one over all of the children and knowing what's happening. The educator in that circumstance should know which child had allergies, which child don't eat this and that. That's what the kindergartners do. Now, let's say if you're on a bigger school, you might say, okay, we're not at a smaller school where it's pre to K. We might be at a kindergarten to 8th grade, kindergarten to 6th grade school. We have tenants that are out on the yard. All right, fine. Maybe you have, proctors is what we call them here in Cali. Mm-hmm. Maybe you have guard attendants, proctors who are on the yard. Cool. I'll give you that. So your kindergartner got up, walked out the classroom with that big backpack to take on the playground, and you didn't have a question. Sorry, teacher, I still hold you slightly accountable. And proctor, y'all didn't see that baby bust that bottle out and Jose Cuervo dance around the playground if you don't stop playing with me? Wow. So it's some questions I got. I'm talking to principals. I'm all at the district. This is an issue.
When looking at this article, I even realized that the article didn't even say if it was a boy or a girl. It didn't even say their age. It just said, they said kindergarten. So they didn't say what level of kindergarten. They also protected them, but they didn't talk much about the recourse for the teachers. They talked about the parents. They talked about what other parents thought. They talked about, what they were, that they called all the parents for poison control, let them all know that. They didn't say much about the teacher. I was really surprised because my first question was, where were you?
Where was the teacher? What you doing?
That was the first question, and it wasn't really addressed. My first question would have been, where were you? And I would like to know a follow-up. Do you still have a job? Because
yes, or some formal training. Because I will tell you this: the children will test the system. That's what they are working. That's what they're designed to do. And it's not about testing your system to misbehave. It's about exploring. Children, we want them to be cognitive reasoning, developing people. We want them to have the ability to say, okay, how can I maneuver things? How can I assist things? We want them to have those type of skills. We force our education practices to master giving them those developmental opportunities. Why don't we think that they're doing that from home to school? They are.
Right.
They'll test your authority. They'll test your beliefs. They'll test your practices.
That's your
They'll
game
test your
shot.
They'll test you. Why? Because they're exploring. They're developing who they're becoming into. So watch this. Even on a far scale, let's say if this is the kindergartner who only lives a block away, 2 blocks away, and their family is comfortable with their 5-year-old walking to school, which in a normal world we should be. You know what I mean? Some areas not, but some people are. Some people, they got to work at 4 a.m. They need little Johnny to be able to walk out with his middle school sister, and they keep walking, and he go that way, she go this way, whatever. So now, if that's the case, and the parent is in, like, I had no idea my baby's walked to school. I did not know he was bold enough. She was bold enough to take it out the pantry and take it to school. How dare my child, right? Once it got to school, all of the ramifications, to me, I'm not saying that the parent is still responsible for what they could have avoided, the location, the process, the checking and going, and all of that stuff. Then teacher, educator, school administration. How do you see a child walking around get to where they are pouring cups? Where do cups come from?
Right.
So someone should have noticed there were several opportunities to me for red flags to be shown. At the mark that the child had cups out, it should be, oh, what we sharing today? How nice. What you got? You should be nosily checking what your kindergartner is doing.
I hope and pray that all of the children involved are healthy and well. You know, the article said that everybody was good. I hope that continues. I do hope and pray that even the school system kind of just takes a look at some of the pitfalls that they may have as it relates to their teachers and leadership and things like that, and that changes are made. But this was a hot topic that I just could not. I mean, I said, oh no, we cannot skip this one. First, I have LaShawn on this month. Like, I got to talk about this with her. And two, just the fact that as parents, as grandparents, the awareness, we need to be aware. And it's okay to be in their business because they ain't got none, okay?
Your business is my business. I'm your business. You're mine.
You ain't got no business, okay? Yeah. This is.
So, and then can I add a tip for anybody watching who says, well, I would never let that happen? You have to be careful. You cannot say never. We are in a growing environment where our exploring children, they are seeing things so much more advanced than what we saw. I don't care how young or old you think you are, they have access to everything. And guess what? It's all being normalized. So administrator, teacher, professional, parents, we all need to have practices that make them normalize the fact that we need to be included. We need to be involved in what they have going on. If it has to be a secret, then it shouldn't be done. Sorry, because anything you have that's a secret, clearly if you're not old enough for it to be your own business. How about that? At the mark that it's your own business is because you provide for you alone and you can go into solitude and nobody needs to know what you're doing. Administrators, if you are allowing teachers to have that level of relax and explore. Some people say, well, we need to have the Montessori system where everybody explores on their own. I think those education systems are amazing, but it should not be a pass to make your teachers lazy. So if you can walk through your staff and kids have the back is what they see of a teacher, they're in violation. Anything can happen. Imagine if that child was able to pour drinks, that child could have actually pulled out a weapon and assaulted a child. There's no reason children of that age or any age should not have all hands on deck, period, at all times. There's no breaks. That staff would be they lucky I ain't directing no more. They'd be like, good Lord, this lady crazy. We're gonna protect these kids.
So, I mean, again, utilize these tips. Parents, grandparents, sisters, cousins, aunties, let's just be aware of our children and their surroundings. Let's just keep the safety of our youth. We gotta protect our babies. We gotta protect our babies.
Future.
So our first guest this week is Realtor, as I stated, Korey Kinder. Now, you guys know I could read a whole bio and give you the story. I'll let him tell you his story. I'm going to tell you how I came in contact with Korey. So, you know, I am on social media all the time. I'm searching. I'm in chats. I'm in other people's business because, you know, that's just what I do. I was in our community chat and he posted something. First of all, y'all know me. I like clean looks. I was like, oh, he look clean. Okay. So I clicked on the profile. Oh, he's a realtor because he was talking about real estate in there. And I said, oh, he looked like he knows what he's talking about. Then I started scrolling and I saw the content on his page and I was like, oh, okay, click, let's start following. So after that, I just began to follow him and look at some of the tips that he's been giving homeowners. And when it came time to reboot this show, he was second on my list. I was like, I need to reach out to him. I want to make sure that people are getting this information, because a lot of times we are looking for home ownership. We want to be homeowners, but we just don't know where to get started. And we feel like we're getting the run around. But when I tell you, I'll give you all the information on how to connect with him, but Korey gives it to you. Okay. And so I'm excited to bring him. Welcome, Korey. How are you?
How are you? Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you for your yes. I always want to give people props. You know, you did not have to say yes, but thank you for just the service that you give to people. One of the things that I have always done is I'm a giver.
Me too.
If people need information, I'm gonna find it. And if I don't have it, I'm gonna find the person that has the information. And thank you for doing that for just the African American community, and just people in general need to know the information that you provide. So let's talk about your story a little bit. I know you're from Palmetto, Florida, right?
Yes, 941 area.
And how old are you?
I am 26 years old.
Y'all hear that?
26 going on 40, but 26 as of right now. So.
Okay, it depends on who you're talking to. 26 going on 40. Okay, 26 going on 40, and you have a couple properties. You're in real estate. So how did that begin with you? Where, as a 26-year-old, how did that start for you being so young? Because most 26-year-olds may not have that same mentality.
First of all, I love real estate. I've always been infatuated with those big, beautiful homes that you see on like HGTV. When you go to Miami, you see the beautiful real estate properties that are out there. I've always been infatuated with that. I have, several, realtors and brokers within my family that have kind of like shown me different things that I just automatically fell in love with back in the day. Did I ever imagine myself becoming a realtor back in the day? No. My full-blown intention or aspiration was to become a doctor, an anesthesiologist, right?
Really? Okay.
And then I migrated to real estate eventually. So I became a business owner at the age of 22 when I launched my business, Can It Be Myself. It's a CBD and Delta 8 company that I actually have now still fully operating. I then migrated to fixing credit. When I actually started fixing credit, I noticed that a lot of my customers and my clients were saying, oh my God, I'm trying to really change my life. I'm trying to buy a home. And credit is a huge issue as far as what blocks people from getting homes, right? So I said, you know what, how can I really take my passion for real estate? I know how to fix credit. How can I really combine those two together? And I said, you know what, let me become a real estate agent. And so I bought my first property at the age of 23 when the odds were against me completely, right? Seriously, I had bad credit a year before I actually bought my house. I lost everything due to some personal decisions I made personally. And when I tell you, in 365 days, when that 1 year, my life changed. I fixed my own credit. I was able to go and dispute things off my credit report legally. I was able to go in and boost my finances up. I was able to go ahead and get everything I needed to actually buy my first house at the age of 23. I sold that house a year and a half later. Quite a bit of money off that property. I bought another house, 6-bedroom house that I'm in now in Apollo Beach. And then I'm actually in the process of trying to buy another house as well too, for investment purposes.
Wow. Oh, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
So I love the story of an overcomer. The fact that you didn't let those issues stop you. What you did was you said, how do I get out of this? What's my next step to get? Your goals don't need to change because issues come into play. You know what I'm saying? And you just made my heart just so happy. I love it.
People see sad soft stories all the time on the internet. People see it from their families. They have their own. Heck, we see people that are really overcoming, those situations. It's not enough of that, that you can still turn around no matter what your past is. So,
and at such a young age to have that mentality. I know one of the things you talked about is that in the beginning of just your young career, you had some speech issues.
I did.
So do you think that having those issues and overcoming those just helped you with overcoming in life in general as stuff comes? Because sometimes going through those things at a young age just kind of gives you that drive. It's like, I can overcome anything if I can do that. How do you?
I do believe that did play a part in reference to my fortitude, in reference to like overcoming obstacles. But there's so many obstacles I face even beyond the speech issues that I did have. I think that God allowed me to kind of go through that obstacles So therefore, I was able to be a voice and actually speak to other people. Now I'm speaking to hundreds of people all the time.
Right.
Just to kind of give you a glimpse of how bad my speech issues were. I was not even able to enunciate my words. I wasn't able to, create sentences and say sentences completely. It was at that particular point. So I was in speech therapy 5 times per week in elementary school, right? And from that point forward, after I was able to truly gain what I needed from the speech therapy, I was able to join clubs such as like Future Business Leaders of America. I was able to, do speeches. I graduated top of my class. I did a speech in front of the entire graduation auditorium. It was things like that allowed me to do that. So when I became an adult and I started having businesses, speaking to other people and going through other things that allowed me to pretty much see that it was an obstacle, I was able to truly get over that because I knew that I had balanced the hurdle initially.
I love that. I'm a mom's caregiver. My mom had a stroke and she has aphasia. So putting the sentences together and going to speech therapy, I understand that process, and I understand, the difficulty it is when you want to say something and you can't, you can't get it out. And so being able to see you and hear you today, I thank God for your healing in that area. That is absolutely amazing. And from that, because even thinking about, just being able to speak, being a realtor, you got to do a lot of talking. You have to do a lot of talking as a realtor, like getting into that space. I know you have the cannabis business as well, right?
Yes.
So what made you say, I want to have multiple businesses, and then I also want to focus on real estate as one of, my top 2 or 3?
Well, to answer the first part of that question, I felt like once I was able to reach a certain success within Can It Be Myself, I saw the impact I was making on my clients within Can It Be Myself. I said, well, Lord, how can I truly enlarge my territory? How can I really do something that is impacting more people in a way that I want to impact people? And that's where real estate came in. When I was able to go through my own obstacles, I'm like, okay, I know how to fix credit. I had bad credit. I know how I've always wanted to just not pay rent. I wanted something to call it mine. So I wanted to give that same opportunity. And that's how I went into real estate.
So as it relates to real estate, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges that people face, as a buyer?
I think it's a lack of knowledge. There's not enough good knowledge. There's not enough real people out there, spreading the knowledge about what it takes to become a homeowner. I think a lot of people make it more difficult than what it is as well. I think people have that phenomenon where it's like, oh my God, people in my family haven't done it. There's nobody that I know that have done it, so are worthy of doing it as well too. Like, is it that difficult? So people have a fear already, and then people don't know how to combat the fear along with the real issues, which is, you may not have your finances together. How does your credit look? It's those type of things that's like, you may want to buy a house, but what about the decisions that you made 3 months beforehand?
Oh, yes.
Bills on time. Like people have those type of things. And I think that's what blocks people from home ownership, or at least not blocks, but delays the process. Let me say that.
For home ownership. Let me tell you something. I've told my story thousands and thousands of times. When I took over being my mom's caregiver, I lost everything and I had to start over. Coming from having a nice income to not having an income at all, to being a caregiver, to making decisions. I was making some foul decisions for myself because I didn't know what to do. I was just like, and I've had to spend the last several years making up for those decisions I made in the face of difficulty, in the face of trauma in my house. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom had a stroke, I had to be her caregiver, had to, it was so many things. And so I believe that if I had the right information at the time, that I probably would have been farther along than I am today, just with information. So I agree with that. Like letting people know that no matter where you are, the knowledge is going to be power. No one can take your knowledge from you. Once you know it, and having a resource to be able to share that. So how do you think, what ways are you personally helping people combat those issues?
So my business, House of Credit Solutions, I launched that business almost 2 years ago, I want to say. House of Credit Solutions, when I actually I created that for the notion of me getting people into homes, by fixing the main issue that delayed people, which was credit. So I developed a program called the Home Buyers Group, the Get Me Home program within House of Credit Solutions, where if people actually had aspirations to actually buy a home, I would actually fix their credit, right? So they were going to pay all the fees for credit repair, and then they'll be reimbursed for everything they paid for once they close on the home. So it's essentially like they got free credit repair. And then as a buyer, you don't pay me as a realtor, the seller would, or the builder. Technically a free process. So a lot of people took advantage of that. And I've had quite a few people graduate from that and then actually buy homes as well too.
What made you decide I need to put these two together and I need to package it in such a way that you have no choice but to do it? You know what I'm saying? Because some people be like, I don't want the credit, I just want the house. Like, so what made you go there?
Because I felt like being in the industry of both the credit sector of the world and then the real estate industry, I knew what the biggest issue that faced people, which is credit, and seeing the direct impact, that it has on, for example, your terms and conditions, your interest rate. Like when people say, well, I don't want a mortgage that's $2,500 on a house that's $200,000. Well, it's because probably your credit score may not be there. So it's determining your homeowner's insurance rates. It has such an impact. So I knew that by bundling those two together, I was pretty much making sure that my clients were successful. So by the time you actually did the home application or the mortgage application, you were undeniable.
Okay. So you put their profiles together to where they can't say no.
They can't say no.
Oh, I love it.
So you get advice from a realtor and a credit specialist at the same time. I'm telling you how to get there. And that's what I will tell people too is, let me help you get to the finish line.
What would you say? For those who may be embarrassed? Like when I started, getting, because I was so successful, I had done so well, and then it just went down. I was embarrassed as heck to tell people, like, look, my credit score is looking like this, and I need help getting. What would you tell people who just may be embarrassed about the process? You know what I'm saying? About where they are.
You have to start from somewhere.
Yeah.
And the saying is, you can be delayed but not denied, but you can also be delayed so much that you end up denying yourself the process. And so if you don't ever ask for help, you will never receive help. If you continue to do the same things that you've always done, you'll be in the same places that you've always been. So you have to ask for help. And if a person is truly understanding, you've done research on that particular person like me, I will tell my story in a heartbeat of how you can go from zero to hero.
I love it. And so we have our co-host today, Miss LaShawn. Hey, LaShawn.
Hey, how you doing? Hi, Korey.
How are you?
I am blessed. Zero to hero. I saw you. I saw the advertisements with the cape. You're not playing about that zero to hero, honey. I saw that. I said, oh, he's not playing.
When I reached out to LaShawn and I said, listen, this is who I want to talk to, because I really, there were, and her and I talked about it. There were some things that just stuck out. Of course, I am a visual person, so the graphics was on point, and I was just like, okay, there you got me. But your story, and then your age. You know what I'm saying? I think that being a mature younger, I don't like to say young, like, there's, being mature enough to understand what you know, and then not enough to just understand it, but to say, hey, I want to bring y'all with me. Like, I don't want to do this by myself. We can all make it and grow. It's such an amazing thing to see and watch. And I just want to commend you to keep going and let you know that between LaShawn and I, you got support. Like, we on it. Like, we're going to be sharing. We're going to be telling people about you and the services that you offer. So tell us about your Facebook group. So I was kind of scrolling through the group today. Tell me about the group.
I love the Get Me Home group. And I think I called it the Get Me Home group was because I know that so many people are trying to just get home, right? Let me get you home, right? So people are on that journey, and I walk people through the journey of home ownership, whether that be the do's and the don'ts, giving real estate deals of the day, the things that I'm seeing that people may not have access to. So let me show you, let me break it down why you may need to look at this property. Bringing other realtors and other lenders that can give you tips on the different financing. I go over short-term rentals such as Airbnb. I go over things that could really benefit people and other ways to be successful within real estate as well.
Absolutely.
And create that community. People say, well, it's at the top is lonely. Well, it's only lonely at the top if you don't bring other people with you, right? When you have a community that I'm trying to build within the Get Me Home group with other people's other homeowners that are going through the same journey, the same pathway, so by having that reinforced community, that tribe of people that just are building and supporting you, encouraging you. You have a question, let us all answer. What do you think about this? And that's the purpose of the group.
So I have a question in the group. Do you have people that ask about, well, more than just the first home? Because I know we talked about people who are, a little nervous to jump in that water. So I looked at I'm gonna be me. Let me just go ahead and tell. I was like,
yes, ma'am.
I was like, no, he's not 26. I'm messy. I was over here interviewing. Okay, about a 25. We got 2 degrees. Okay, I was like, wait, is that a wife coming? Okay, wait, I think he might have something going on. Okay, I'm gonna pull back. Boy, you look like qualification. I was like, come on, black man, do your thing. So so I'm asking this question. She'll die if she saw that. She'll be like, no, you didn't. So I digress. But the question that I have is because I'm surrounded by visionaries, okay, and like Keandra said, so even like someone like my daughter, her plan is, she was like, she out the gate, she was like, no, mom, listen, I see what we had our house built. She was like, I'm gonna rent from y'all, I'm gonna do this and that, I'm stacking my money. I don't want a house, I want property. So she is already envisioning property that has multiple units on it. She's like, I'm not walking out the gate into just a little cottage for me. I want something that I can magnify. So do you help people with those type of visions as well?
Absolutely. And if I can't help them, I have lenders, I have other realtors in the group that can actually do that as well too. And that's the purpose of the Get Me Home group, because there's everything. I don't know everything. I don't claim to know everything. However, if I don't know something, trust me, the same community that I'm trying to build within this Get Me Home group is the same community that I have. It takes a village to move somebody to the next level. And that's what I try to create within the Get Me Home, is the group, the village of other people, other specialties, other experts that can help you get to the finish line as well too.
Or where can people find you?
So on Facebook, Korey Kinder, Korey Kinder. That's my personal business page. Also, I have a business page that's really professional, Korey Kinder Williams. Korey Kinder, Keller Williams, Tampa Properties. And then the Get Me Home group is just how it sounds, Get Me Home buyers.
So one of the things that struck me and why I reached out to you was I, of course, do media. So, the top thing in media was the whole Bank of America new home program. And I said, let me see if Korey, I ain't gonna lie, I was like, let me see if he's talking about this. If he's talking about this, then he doing what he's supposed to. And you had a whole thing like, look, let me help you, and so let's talk about that. What is that program? Where can people find it? Why do you think it's valuable, based off of what you know?
So the Bank of America program is definitely, it can be beneficial. Absolutely. It's 0 down payment. They're covering closing costs as well too. A lot of people think that it's an African-American thing. They think it's a Latino thing, and it's not for that. That's one of the false truths that have been spread about a lot, within the community. Is really, they're specializing in communities that are predominantly and geographically in African-American and Latino communities. So to, equal out the playing field. There's been so many disparities, and they've actually discussed that before. There's been disparities within people actually buying homes. So they want to make it easier by using sources that people use every day. For example, you may pay rent. If you've been paying rent for the last 2 years on time, you should be getting credit for that. And that's how they feel. Insurance payments, telephone bills, water, light bills. So all those things come into play, and that's what they're truly doing. They're not even considering credit score as a primary factor. Income is still important, but the same factors and the same underwriting guidelines that it would take for any type of loan financing is the same way with Bank of America. So do I think it's beneficial? It may be beneficial for the right person. Absolutely. Does everybody need to go on and jump on the train to do this? No. There's other programs that are out there, USDA, that is 0 down payment financing as well too. There are other programs, FHA 3.5%, conventional 5%, 10%, 15% that you could do that have other benefits that may benefit somebody else.
Okay.
So I have a question, okay, because a lot of, and I'm going to do it from the pessimistic point of view, which is I'm an optimist, but I just want to be able to do that because somebody's watching and they're going, yeah, I tried this, I tried that. So I know that years ago when NACA came out trying to help people, when we had all of those problems and money was jumping the house, or property was going down and everything, how do you, for the person who was saying, I want to jump in. Korey, I want your help. But I went through NACA last time and I ended up losing my house. And now B of A saying they got something else. I remember they had something before, and they feel very much like, this redlining, it's still happening, and they marketing, I'm targeted. How do you help that person see the difference? What on paper makes you say, no, hold on, here's the difference?
So here's what I always do. I always go through, first of all, I look at, the entire picture of the person that I'm dealing with, my client, the financial picture, do you have a down payment? Do you have closing costs? There may be certain things that you may not want to go through this program because you may have to pay it back. There may be certain things where you may not be able to sell your house, I always ask those type of questions and kind of get that and paint that picture. But there's different programs where people may have had a poor experience before, but it could be completely different and improved. And for example, a new program such as Bank of America, what they're trying to do. But again, there's other programs that have had a strong history. Other than Bank of America is just the thing. There's the program that have been marketed the most, in my opinion.
Right.
But people don't know, again, the lack of knowledge. USDA. There's other than, there's other options. VA, a veteran may be trying to do the Bank of America, and when they qualify for VA.
Right. Right.
So you may never know until you actually talk to a person that specializes within this industry to give you the comparison. And this is why I stay up to date with everything that I do and stay informed, because it's such a lack of true knowledge.
Right. Right. And knowledge is power. I think that's important to know, because we do. And the news and media will say, hey, this is what's hot. And we're like jumping on that. But having a realtor that's knowledgeable, that can actually really look at the landscape of your life and your finances and what you can do and find the best option for you is important, So I think that it's important that you even, what I like and what I've heard you say a couple of times is, if I don't know, there's somebody in the group that will know, so that understanding that you may not have all the knowledge, but you provide a resource in your group that people can kind of hone in on to get the knowledge and support that they need. Because home ownership can be, whether you're buying your first property or a rental property for the first time, it could be kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? Just the process alone, because you're putting your money, your name, your everything into this process. And I remember buying a house, I feel like I was like, y'all need my blood type and my y'all need my blood type. Because, like you need his birth certificate, like y'all need all his, from the dog on up, so it's a lot. But it's also such an amazing blessing at the end of it, to have that property for whatever purpose. If we're looking at just buying, if I'm deciding to buy another property, I know you said that you're doing a rental property right now. What type of advice, at least 3 or 4 pieces of advice you would give somebody if they are buying another property and they already have one?
So I would say that, honestly, identify what the rental market is. Do you want to rent out your home? Do you want to be a landlord at that particular point? Do you want to face the fact that if your person doesn't pay the rent, will you be stuck with a mortgage? But also, do you have an opportunity to truly capitalize on the equity within your current home, to truly use that as a down payment on the rental property instead of coming up with your money, your liquid assets? What is the benefit of having 2 properties? Is it worth it? Is the market right for you to actually buy a rental property in the area that you're looking in? Also, something that people need to pay attention to is what is the capitalization like? So if you're trying to buy another property that may be a fix or flip or a rental property, is it worth the gain? So the mortgage rate that you're going to get on it, are you going to be able to make money off the property? Right? So, but here's what I always tell people too. In this situation, you have to be able to marry the home and date the rate. I just talked about this. That's why I said I'm getting married. You have to marry the home and date the rate, because there may be a certain amount of time, or like, for example, the time period that we're in now where rates are kind of high. Well, from perspective, people think it's high, but historically they're still low. When you think about pre-COVID times, we are in where we are probably supposed to be. 5%, 6%. It was even higher way before that.
Right.
So historically, it's low. So, but when people start buying these other properties, they get a property, for example, for $350,000, and now their mortgage is probably $2,500. But if the market says that the rent on the property is only $2,000, who's going to pay $2,500 for it? So
Right.
is it worth it? You know, and you have to have that conversation with yourself as well.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I got a question because
Yeah,
this
I'm like, my brain is like, I'm like,
yeah. I got a few of them. I'm waiting to jump in. So listen, I am in California.
Okay.
So these numbers this sound I wish I saw some. I don't know what a 2000 nothing looked like. That's almost a car right now for us.
Okay.
So okay, so here we are. We as a California native, I travel a lot, so I know there's beautiful properties everywhere for way less, Father God, than what we pay.
way less.
But we are steadily having an influx of people wanting to be here. Like, I mean, they're building all around us like crazy. So the numbers, even though they've slowed down, they're still going up. In my community alone, I know we've been here a year and a half, and the equity is nice already. Like it started from day one, as soon as they turned the soil. So what is happening? Why are we still getting so many people coming here if everybody is saying, the nation is saying, California, listen, your numbers are too crazy, but they're steadily coming. So somebody's able to afford it. Do you think that'll put us in another crash or something? What's going on? Korey, tell me what's going on. I don't know my neighbors.
So, and that's what a lot of area people say, that Florida's high. You know, Florida's almost comparable to California these days. Not in the extreme sense, because
yes,
find a regular house for under $1 million. Seem like in California,
right.
But there's a buyer for every price point, and I can tell you that for the people that are saying that, oh my God, there's about to be another crash coming soon. I think we've been in a market where it's been so inflated for so long. For the last 2 years, we've been seeing crazy banana inflation rates of houses. You know, people sell, like, the same house that I bought 2 years ago is now an extra $200,000 more. Now, we've never seen that. You know, like, so it's crazy. So I think when people see the prices coming down, like, they think, oh my God, the market is crashing. No, we're stabilizing, right? It's correcting itself, you know, to where we probably would have been. But it's just a new baseline for where we're starting at now. So people do migrate to different areas such as California, Florida, those hot Texas, those hot areas because of maybe jobs, opportunity, pay maybe just a little bit more. So cost of living may be higher, but sometimes people see the value in, if I buy this property, hey, equity may be here in the next year.
Right.
Equity may be here within the next 5 years because I see the growth. So people do that all the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you say we stabilizing now. All right.
We're stabilizing. So we're still, trust me, there's still some inflated pricing, you know.
Yes.
But I think in the market that we're in now, if your house is overinflated, the house would just sit. Back in the day, it's crazy how the market just changed in months. Because even in December, you could have inflated your house just a little bit higher, you know, like things were just on the up and up still, you know, and the house would have been gone before you even put the listing sign out.
There were bidding wars. It literally bidding wars.
Literally.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was waiting lists and bidding wars everywhere.
Everywhere. Yes. But now it's really not that. So people have an opportunity to jump in the market. This is the time. This is the time to really jump in the market. If you've been afraid to buy over the last 2 years, you probably missed the wave of trying to get a crazy amount of equity. But now you still have a chance to truly jump in the home ownership and still build equity. That's the point of home ownership. One of the primary benefits is that your house will appreciate over time, typically. So
it's not too late for y'all. Those of y'all who feel like you missed it, it's not too late. That's good.
It is never too late. All right. So I know you have your boot camp. When is the next one? What does that look like? It's the National Home Buyers Boot Camp. What does that look like?
I'm so proud of this project because it's so many things that, again, the lack of knowledge, people don't have the resources. So I want to create the National Home Buyers Boot Camp to truly create that opportunity for people to truly get pre-approved at the very end. So at week 1, we are having what is called Match Week and also the boot camp kickoff. So the bootcamp kickoff will truly focus on, having different lenders. We have people from USDA representatives speaking. We have people from FHA, the people that approve the loan, speaking, underwriters speaking, just to get people ready to truly dive into home ownership, right? But again, the lack of knowledge has been very relevant. So I'm trying to truly inform people just in week one alone. We also have what's called Match Week, where, for example, realtors, lenders that specialize in certain things, for example, commercial properties, multifamily units, single family residences. If you're a travel nurse, you may have a realtor that specializes in working with just travel nurses. They will actually be connected and matched with the participants. So the participants and the realtors would actually complete a questionnaire, and whoever matches up to make that best fit to get you to the finish line for whatever your goal may be, that's what's going to happen, or what's going to take place in Match Week. Week 2, we discuss credit. So from repossessions, bankruptcies, collections and charge-offs, let's go and get it off. Like, let's go and have that stuff stop affecting you, right? In week 3, we are discussing short-term rentals, multifamily units. Week 4 is graduation time, baby. It's time for you to get pre-approved. So that's the goal. So I'm giving realtors nationwide an opportunity to get pre-approved customers. So therefore, we're going to close the deals and get people into homes as well.
Man.
Okay.
So
did you already share where to sign up?
Okay.
Did you? Where's the sign up? The pens are ready.
Yes.
Telling you. So I'm still working on it. I'm getting workbooks created now. I'm trying to get everything ready to make people feel empowered. The workbook would actually include everything from it's going to follow along with the pace of the course that it is. It's live. It's going to be virtual. Even at the very end of the workbook, we have it set to where post graduation, where you're actually saying house 1, house 2, house 3. What are the pros and cons of this house that I'm looking at with my realtor? The lender, these are the questions that you need to ask. Like, these are like the things like that way. Here's my property inspection period. This is what it means. The glossary at the very end discussing terms that they may not know. So like stuff like that, giving them so much value and so much wealth that I wish I had when I bought my first home, and I know people will definitely value it as well too. But as soon as I release it, I'm definitely going to do it. It should be released next week as well.
And what month is this class for? I'm just, for those who waiting at the starting gate, you got their good shoes on.
I'm trying to tell you, the track shoes.
The cleat,
They got their cleats on. They got their foot pushing. Where they twist that ankle right there, ready to push off.
So October, so it's gonna be the first week of October to the last week of October. And that's when we'll actually have our graduating class by the end of October.
Wow. I am so excited. I am, congratulations, Korey. My heart. Okay, so let me just go here. As an entrepreneur, I've been in this game for a very long time.
Yes, ma'am.
As just somebody who I love to see people doing things. Like, my heart gets really happy when I see, and Sean will tell you, like, my heart I just overflow when I see people that are doing things, and not only doing things for themselves, but they're doing things to help others. And so I'm going to continue to congratulate you. I'm going to give you your honor, give you your flowers today, Thank you. Because it's just amazing what you're doing, and releasing the stigma of the fear of home ownership or the fear of having a rental property. Because I know a friend of mine were talking, and she was just like, I got the income and money to do it, but I'm just afraid. And I'm like, but why would you be afraid? You already did it once. You have your home. You know what I'm saying? Just relinquishing those fears and letting people know that there's value. Anybody in our world, as coaches, mentors, consultants, every coach I've ever had, I don't care if it was a high level coach or just a basic, they've always said, a part of my brand is real estate. If you look at, like I tell people all the time, Publix doesn't sell groceries. Publix sells land. Okay. Publix is about real estate. Like, the Publix brand is about real estate. If their bottom line and what they show us to the world is the grocery store. Okay. But is real estate. And so being able to understand that and to be able to see yourself in it is amazing. So I want to thank you for your time. Tell us again where people can find you. I like to do that twice in there, just depending on where people fall in there. Tell us where people can find you, where they can find information. When you launch the link to the boot camp, please make sure you inbox me, let me know so that I can make sure that we're sharing it to make sure that we get that class full. It's probably already full from your group, but we're going to make sure the next one is full.
We already have, 48 realtors that have signed up, to be a part of this program. We have 5 lenders, 7 expert speakers. It's going to be amazing. Like, there's no reason not to join. So it's the time.
Look, I'm
right.
See where I'm falling. Me and Sean gonna be there.
We'll be there. Hey, look, as much as I want to get out somewhere, my husband will be saying, "So Korey, you got 4 more properties she want me to do now, right? This is the man. This is the man." So now she need a property, and everywhere she drop her passport, that's how she looking. I'm be like, Korey said I can have it. I
gotta tell you,
friend, Korey. This is my traveling friend. When I tell you, I'll call her and I'm calling her on the phone. I'm looking on Facebook. She on somebody's island. I'm like, wait, girl, where did you go?
I'm the same way. When I say I will pick up and go in a minute, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm the next.
I'm there now. Like I'm an empty nester. My kids are gone. Wow. It is time. Y'all have absolutely no clue. LaShawn was like, I ain't waiting till they get out. I was like, I'm gonna wait till they go.
No, Korey, I started over. I have a 25-year-old and a 12-year-old and 3 in between. So that's why I'm looking at you like, oh, my heart. I'm like, you tell the young lady, good job, baby. Because if not, it was some California interviews you was about to get. So listen, but it's nothing like seeing people in their gifts, use their gifts and talents to make a difference in people's lives. And then for you to do it, people do get caught up. People say, oh, age is just no, age is not a number. Sometimes it's a mindset. And a lot of people, they get stuck where they feel like I can't do certain things or I can do certain things. Whichever end of the spectrum you're on, you're either using those gifts and talents to make a difference, or you're sitting on them and you're holding on to them, afraid to jump, afraid to get out there, afraid to let your youth, be scary. Youth is scary because you don't know what you don't know. So you got to suck it up and push past the fear. So to look at you with your age, to be able to say, no, we want to acknowledge and honor that you've been able to step in and be excited about what you're doing and do it at a young age. You're preserving your future. And that's magical. And not everybody gets that and that understanding. So yes, it's beyond the successes. I want the people around me to be connected to people with those mindsets, with that understanding about life, about value for their gifts and talents, about what it looks like to serve, to give back. That's what I'm encouraging people to do. So that's why you look like a good interview to me. So I commend you for that. It's such a big deal. So yes, but she's right. I like to get up and go. I'm Africa next week, y'all. I'm not playing no games with this because I only have today. And so if I can plan for tomorrow, then I'm going to do my best with what tomorrow's plans are, because my tomorrow's plans are going to help the generation behind me, because I'm living out today's today.
Yes.
So yes, we can look at some other properties. Korey, obviously with Keandra in your class,
Hello.
And then I'm going to be calling my realtor and finance people on the line. They're going to be like, LaShawn, what happened? Just close your mouth. This is what Korey said. We need to smoke.
We following Korey.
We taking things international. I'm trying to tell you, it's money overseas as well too. Like short-term rental, we need to get into that. And because we've never seen people do it, we have. And we think it doesn't
happen.
It happens all the time.
And the numbers other places are mind-blowing. Literally, I'm gonna tell y'all something I did.
I've been looking into equity partnerships. Look, y'all think it's a game.
It's another level. My house is equivalent to a half an island somewhere else. I said, what? A commercial island? Are y'all kidding me? For the value we spend on, and I thank God. I love my home. It's not going nowhere. But when I look at dollars and cents, we allow fear. We've been solicited fear. And unfortunately,
Right.
it's like a piece of us sometimes that is born into you. You know what I mean? Like you come right into that environment of understanding and that lack of knowledge that there's something beyond you. If you don't get out your own city, state, country, you don't know. Money is a tool. It's a resource that gets moved and gets exchanged. And a lot of people, they live off of not their money, somebody else's money, and use their money to invest differently. So that's what we're supposed to be doing. So that's what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, Korey, I'm with it. I'm with it.
Okay. Listen, so Korey, let us know again. I don't want anybody to miss how they can find your information and find this information. Let us know how to find you.
So again, my Facebook page is Korey Kinder, KoreyKinder. So Korey Kinder. My business page is Korey Kinder, Tampa or Keller Williams Tampa Properties, and then the group that I actually have on Facebook is called Get Me Home Buyers Group. You have to start somewhere. Why not start today?
Why not start today? So Korey, thank you for your time. I know you got to get going. You got some houses to sell, some people to help. So I appreciate you, and I look forward to just seeing your growth and know that you now have the support of the entire Keandra Ward International team and staff, and Dream Cultivator over there. California gonna be calling you, child. She already.
I really know you now.
Keep shining. That's what we need you to do. Keep shining. All right, we're gonna be sending people towards the light. Keep shining.
Thank you.
All right now. Thank you, Korey. Have an amazing day.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey. Woo, today's show was absolutely amazing. Join us next week because you know it's the holiday season. We have some special holiday guests for you next week. Remember, guys, it's time. It's time for you to believe. It's time for you to dream. It's time for you to go after your goal. And it's time for you to show up. I'll see you next week.